Welcome again to next week of core groups here. And today I was talking about availability. Today was the third part. I kind of set the stage for all of it a little bit with a couple basic principles about just being in a missions field. The workers are few, and the Lord wants us to be all hands on the plow and in that missions field. But as I was just trying to get today into the actual story here about sending out the 72 and everything that happens in it, as I was looking closer into it, like I explained today, there's this pattern. It's a very clear pattern somehow about calling, provision, reception, and then also rejection, how we deal with rejection. But as I was looking into it, there's this passage that precedes it all, and it really has something to do about the cost of following the Lord. The cost, we have to, count the costs. And I think many of us, every once in a while, we just get stuck in our thinking or in the busyness of life, and we make ourselves, because of that, unavailable. And this is what the core message is of this passage, because when the Lord wants us in, many of us, we all embedded in life, and we all have those stories about things that are happening to us all the time, where we see things in the news, and we live in a world of distraction all around us all the time, 24/7. And here there's this story embedded before the Lord even sends out the 72, and it's about others. I can't help but think that if some of those people would have made themselves available, maybe the Lord could have sent them out too ahead of him. But for some reason, they got stuck somewhere in that process. And so those were the three things that I mentioned. The first one was maybe having a little bit of a naive perspective on the costs of what it means for us to enter into his service and make ourselves available to him. The second one was being tied up by obligations, by everyday life. There was in verse 56, it says to another, he said, follow me, but he said, let me first go and bury my father. It's a funeral. Everybody's understanding about the obligations, about being there for a funeral, taking care of a funeral. There's people getting married, there's the funerals, there's just different things in life. There's graduations coming up right now again. There's just normal obligations of life. But somehow we always have so many obligations. We could literally accumulate so many obligations in our life that we would never follow the Lord, because there's always stuff that needs taken care of, And then the last one was with this obligation too, there can be like an emotional entanglement. Some of you, maybe you have gone through a divorce, or there was a relationship breakup, or something or abusive relationship from the past, and there's something really deep within that makes you feel like that when you talk with somebody with a new one, the Lord wants to use you in a situation, but there's baggage there somehow, and you're not 100% emotional free. The Lord wants to set us free from all. He wants to deliver us from all of those unavailable possibilities, because the workers are few, and he wants to send us into the harvest field. And our readiness, the state of our readiness, the state of our entanglement, and how we're distracted by everything around us really does determine how the Lord can use us effectively in everyday life. And so I want to encourage you, as you talk today, it should be a very easy discussion, because we all have stuff going on in our lives with obligations and maybe emotional entanglements. It can get a little bit emotional there, but maybe just share freely about it. What are the circumstances? What are all the things on your plate? We call it, right? There's things on my plate right now. Just share the things that are on your plate that are, and then how do you manage in all the busyness of life to stay on track with the Lord? And share about it. Share your experiences. And as you all share, in the end, just pray for one another, that the Lord in all those circumstances, He will set you free, that He will navigate you through all of those obligations, and that He's going to lead you right forward into that harvest field. Our prayers are with you. God bless you. Invite more people into the core groups and allow them to share their own story and minister to them. We are all part of the Lord's work. Amen. God bless you. We'll see you next week.